Back at it on Golf Today. Some news over the weekend as 15-time major champion Tiger Woods has been selected to receive the highest honor from the USGA. That's the Bob Jones Award, which recognizes his commitment to sportsmanship and respect for golf's traditions. Tiger will be honored June 12th during the U.S. Open at Pinehurst. Tiger Woods sharing this, saying that Bob Jones was a pillar of our game because of the integrity with which he played it, and I'm truly humbled to receive the award that bears his name and join the many who have received it before me who continue his legacy. Tiger, both a historian and a student of the game, clearly means a lot to him. Speaking of the big cat, he's teeing it up today in a tournament he's never played before, the Seminole Pro-Member at the iconic Juno Beach, Florida club, where he will partner with PGA of America CEO Seth Waugh, play against dozens of teams with PGA Tour pros and titans of industry. Woods has generally always been invited by a member in the past, though he never accepted until now. So a little curious after the WD at the genesis for that illness, why today was the good fit for him to tee it up there.
I think he's just desperate for competitive action in any form. I mean, you really can't go to Augusta National expecting, if he plays the Players' Championship, which I think now is kind of the expectation, to play 5.5 tournament rounds and think that you can win the Masters tournament. I'm not saying an 18-hole pro member at Seminole is going to get him ready for Augusta National, but it's getting a scorecard in his hand. It's getting some of those juices going. It's understanding how he feels in that moment. I do find it interesting, though, George, because that was such a setback for what happened at Riviera. I was there that week. I saw him in the practice rounds. I saw him at the Pro-Am. I saw him in the opening round. Like, he looked pretty good. His iron play was sharper than it had been in recent times. You just wonder whether he was going to be able to put in enough time in the short game area and the practice putting green to get sharp enough for tournament competition and to be able to beat the Rorys and the Scotties of the world. What was kind of your take of him playing this week? Obviously, he's not going to be in the field at Bay Hill, but at least he's getting some sort of reps.
Yeah, I mean, I think I don't want to call it honorary, but I think it's at the stage of his career where Tiger's more willing to embrace being a part of events like this, and I think he has an appreciation for when he's able to tee it up, whatever level of competition you want to call this. And I think 5 years ago, if you mentioned, or 10 years ago, PGA Tour champions, I think Tiger would have scoffed a little. I think now he's probably kind of looking forward to when he'll be able to play there after turning 50 into the 26th season. I did think Genesis was a setback, and it seems like we're getting a lot of those now. And when we think we have a somewhat clear landscape, and Tiger says he's pain-free, and then we start throwing projections here on Golf Today. Oh, here's February. Here's what March will look like. And then he plays the Masters and then the PGA. And then we realize how either frail his body can be at times or how uncertain his future is. Then we come crashing back to the current reality of Tiger, where you just have to take it one tournament at a time, and it's almost a fool's errand to try and project what a whole year will look like.
He spoke so optimistically at the Hero World Challenge at the end of the year, where I'm gonna try and play once a month, and he said really his lower leg is not all that much of a concern anymore. And if you watched him at Riviera, like, he's moving better than he has been in recent memory, and except in the opening round, he says he was experiencing back spasms, and that causes the kinetic chain, and he's kind of dealing with pain in other areas, and then he gets sick and he has to withdraw on Friday. You want to put your hand on his shoulder and be like, hey, once we play the Players' Championship, we really need to start at the Valspar Championship. Innisbrook would be a great test for you ahead of the Masters. You need to log these competitive reps if you want any chance to win at the Masters. But he can't physically do it.
Body's not able.
The body is not able to do it. I think that's the frustrating part. Because I think we have a large enough sample size now over the past 2 years to know that playing this Hogan-esque schedule of just the major championships, it sounds great in theory, but it's really hard to do. When you have other players, we just talked about Rory McIlroy, right, who's going to be playing 8 times ahead of the Masters. And you have Tiger, who potentially, assuming he makes the cut at the Players' Championship, would have 5.5 rounds, not starts, 5.5 rounds ahead of a major championship. It's just so hard to compete with that much competitive rust.
It's been a conundrum he's been facing since before the car crash, and I had asked him at the 2020 BMW Championship. That was his final start of that season. I was the reporter that week, and I said, how do you balance reps with having rest? And that was something he was struggling with then, because his back would flare up a bit, and he was saying, I really can't get the reps on off weeks to balance that with the necessary rest to make sure my body's able to compete. Now the pendulum is even swung even more to where rest is going to be like a 95.5 to reps. And it's the hidden hours that make these players great. And his body constrains him for how much he can actually put in. So I think if it's frustrating for us in any sense, the order of magnitude, it's going to be frustrating for Tiger to think my body used to be able to do this 5, 10, 15 years ago, and now I can't. I have to maximize these narrow windows of time that I have to actually compete and get tournament ready. So it's just, I mean, it's like an unsolvable riddle.
It really is. And when you think back, and everyone points to the Masters in 2019, when he was still dealing with the back issues, but Tiger Woods played 4, 5, 6 times.
Yeah.
If you look back, heading into Augusta National, gave everything he had to win one last green jacket, and then, you know, had a little bit of another injury setback, and then at the end of the year, he wins the Zozo Championship as well. He just cannot put enough time in. I'm sure that's maddening. Just kind of being a victim of your own frail body and your own frail sense that he just doesn't have a lot of time competitively to get this thing right. I'm sure that has to be incredibly frustrating for a proud champion like him.